Hello everyone. Good morning. Let's wait for 2 more minutes so that everyone will get joined. Okay. Okay. Let us start our session today. Till yesterday we have discussed about the Java programming format. Means which format it is going to use. What are the sections in that? Like documentation section. Okay. Package statement, import statement, interface section, and then class definition, and then the main method. In main method, class variables and constants. Next, class methods and its behavior. Okay, these are all about the Java programming format. Okay, now today we are going to discuss about the Java statements. Statements are roughly equivalent to sentences in natural languages. Just like how we are having normally the sentences in English, right? The same way statements are equivalent to those sentences in natural languages. In general, statements are just like English sentences that make valid sense. Normally, while we are talking, right, we'll form a sentence and we'll speak it out. That means it making some sense. It is giving some information to the others, right? So the same way, statements are also some sentences which make some valid sense. Okay. What is this statement in Java? Statement is an executable instructions that tells the compiler what to perform. A statement is an executable instruction. Executable means what? The compiler should execute that statement. Otherwise, we cannot say that that is a statement. Okay. You can't say that that is a statement. So in Java, a statement is an executable instruction that tells the compiler to do some task. Okay. Or to what to do, it will be known by the statement. Okay. It forms a complete command to be executed. It forms a complete command to be executed and can include one or more expressions. This statement is a complete command which can have one or more expressions. Expressions means like any addition part, division part, multiplication part, any such type of expressions can also be included in the statements. Okay. How many types of statements are there? There are three types of statements. Okay, those are expression statement, declaration statement, and control statement. Okay, expression statement, declaration statement, and control statements are the types of Java statements. First, we'll discuss about the expression statement. Expression is an essential building block of any Java program. See here what we have. An expression is an essential building block. Essential means what? It is like must and should. It is like a main block of any Java program. Okay. And it is used to generate a new value. In order to generate a new value, this expression statement is going to use. Okay. And we can also assign a value to the variable. We can also assign a value to the variable by using this expression statement. So in Java, expression is the combination of values, variables, operators, and method calls. See what type of values we can pass or what types of operations it can be done on in expression statements are we can assign a value to a variable. We can generate a new value. Okay. We can use an operators in the expression statements. And we can do a method calls also in the expression statements. Okay. And how many types of expressions are there in Java? There are 3 types of expressions are there in Java. First one, expression that produce a value means that generate a value. For example, 6 plus 9 in the parenthesis, it's generating some value here. Like 15 is the result of this because we are doing some addition. And 9 mod 2 pi star pi into radius plus 2. See, these are all the expressions. Okay. So, which are going to generate some value. And definitely, in order to generate some value, this should be closed in the parenthesis. Because the expression which are closed in the parenthesis will evaluate first. After that, rest of the expression will get evaluated. Okay. This is the first type of expression. The second one is that assign a value. Expression that assign a value. Like, for example, number equal to 90. We are assigning some value to the expression. Okay. Like pi is equal to 3.14. Okay. And the third one is neither produce any result nor assigns a value. Means here it is producing some value, it is assigning some value. In the third type, it is not doing anything. Like it is neither producing any value nor assigning some value. For example, increment or decrement a value by using the increment and decrement operator respectively. And method invocation, etc. See, you all know, right? Increment and decrement operator. Like plus minus I plus plus I minus minus means what it will do? It will itself increment the value by 1. I plus plus means it will itself increment the value by 1. Decrement a value means I minus minus. It will decrement a value by 1. I minus minus. Okay. These are operators or doesn't produce any value or nor assigns a value. That comes under this category. These expressions modify a value of a variable or state of a program. Okay. The expression here, see, for example, count plus plus in sum is equal to a plus b. Okay. The expression changes only the value of the variable sum. the value of A and B don't change. Because see here, while doing this addition operation, it is giving the result to the sum value. Now the value of this only changing, not this one, A and B, right? So it is also a side effect because the value of the variables doesn't change. Now, declaration statement. In declaration statement, we declare variables and constants by specifying their data type and name. Name means here data type name. Okay. In declaration statement, we declare variables and constants by their data type and data type name. A variable holds a value that is going to use in the complete Java program. Means what is the value that we are going to assign to a particular variable, that variable we are going to use in the complete Java program. For example, int quantity, boolean, flag. Int quantity means what? Quantity is a variable of type integer. Flag is a variable of type boolean. Message is a variable of type string. Okay. These are all the creating and variables along with the data type. Now we are going to initialize the value to the variable. For example, like int quantity is equal to 20 means we are assigning a value 20 to the quantity variable of integer type. See, this is an integer type, so we have to give value only integer value. 20 is an integer value, so we are assigning that to the quantity. And next boolean flag is equal to false. Here flag is an boolean variable, so it will accept only true or false value. Rather than that, it won't accept anything. It won't accept anything rather than true or false. String message is equal to string message is equal to hello. Hello is a string variable because we have put it that into the inverted commas. Okay. So we are assigning the string value to the message variable. Okay. And also Java allows to declare multiple variables in a single declaration statement. Means what? In a single line, we can declare multiple variables. And those variables must be of the same type. Like if I say, see here, quantity, batch number, lot number, these are all the integer numbers. So we are assigned to the integer. And each contains flag, these are all the boolean. So we are assigned to boolean. We can't assign this flag to this integer. Okay. This is the way how we are going to initialize a value to the particular variables. We have to put all the string variables in the inverted quotes. Okay. Now the control statement. Control statement plays a vital role in the Java program because it decides the flow of Java program. What does it means? Means like flow means what? For example, I am executing my Java program. Okay. Now I want to skip particular lines of code based on the condition. For example, I have executed till 5 lines. Now at the 6th line, I want to execute that line 6th to 10th based on the condition. Like if 5th line is true, then only execute the 6th to 10th line. Otherwise, skip that line. So here, that means here the flow of the particular program is deciding by this control statements. Okay. And these Java statements are parsed from top to bottom. Means it is following the top to bottom approach. Therefore, Using here the control flow statements can interrupt a particular section of program based on certain condition. Okay. Based on certain condition, we are able to skip particular lines of code. Okay. Or we can decide the flow of particular Java program. And now, how many types of control statements are there? Three types. Those are conditional statements, looping statements, and flow control statements. Okay. How many types of control statements are there? Conditional statement, looping statement, and flow control statement. Okay. Conditional statements include if statement, if else statement, if else if statement, and switch statement. Okay. And the looping statements include for loop, while loop, do while, and for each. For each loop is an advanced loop which is not exist before the in earlier versions. Okay. Now flow control statements. Flow control statements are return, continue, and break statements. Now we will discuss each of these statements individually. Okay. First, we can call conditional statements or also a decision making statements. Okay, because it controls the flow of the particular program based on the condition. These decision making statements decide the which statement to be executed and when it should be executed. Okay, decision making statements will decide which statement to execute and when it should execute. Okay, that is the reason why we calling here this as a decision making statements. And these statements evaluate the Boolean expression and control the program flow depending upon the result of the condition provided. Means what? This decision making will evaluate the Boolean expression. Means the expression what we are passing to this decision making, right? It will give, after executing that expression, it will give the Boolean value, either it is true or false. If it is true, it will enter into those statements. Otherwise, it will skip that. Okay. Based that on that only, the control of the program will depend. Okay. There are two types of decision making statements in Java. That is if statement and switch statement. Okay. If statement and switch statement. In if statement, again it is categorized into four types. First, if statement is used to evaluate a condition so that the control of the program is diverted depending upon the specific condition. I told you, right? The same. Based on the condition what we are passing to this if statement, it will give a result as either true or false. If it is true, it will enter into the if condition. Else, it will skip that if condition. Okay. This if statement is categorized into four types. Simple if statement, if else statement, if else if ladder, and nested if. Simple if statement, if else statement, if else if ladder, and nested if statement. And switch statement. The second type of this decision making statement is this for I'll discuss in details. Okay. The next slide. Now switch statement. Switch statement are similar to if else if statement. Means here the third one is there, right? If else if ladder. That and this will be similar. But here in the switch statement, we are having the multiple blocks of code called cases. In switch statement, it contains multiple blocks of code called cases, and a single case is executed based on the variable which is being switched. Okay, it also enhances the readability of the program. Means nothing. It is like just we'll having the multiple cases like case A, case B, Case C. Okay, in the switch statement, switch will accept any character. If we are passing A in the switch statement, then it will come to the case A and it will execute all the statements and it will come out of that particular switch statement. That's it about this switch statement actually. Okay, but I'll show you all this with the examples. Okay, in the online editor. First, I'll try to show you these examples. Online Java. Control. I'll try to show you each example. Mm, Everyone able to see my screen? If yes, please respond me in chat so that I can able to know that you are able to see the screen. Could you please respond me you are able to see my screen or not? Thank you. Thank you so much. See here, we have taken here one class called student and one main method. Inside we are having two variables. Here, these are the variables. Int x is equal to 10, int y is equal to 12. Now, if x plus y greater than 20, means it is evaluating this expression here. X plus y is greater than 20. It will evaluate that and it will give a result, true or false. Okay, if it is true, enter into this if condition. Else it will come out of this if condition. Let us execute this. See, x plus y is greater than 20 because we have written in the system.out.println this statement. If suppose if I give here y is equal to 2, x is equal to 10. Now it won't give any error, right? Because it is coming out of that loop. We can also write here for our understanding outside if condition so that we can able to know outside if condition because I told that here it will check the expression and it is if it is giving the result as false then it will come out of this if condition. It won't enter into that. So what are the statements available after this will get executed. Okay. If I give here see if the condition is true then it is printing that. If the condition is true also after the if statement what are the statements are there that are also going to execute. Okay, because it doesn't matter what are the state available after this if condition, only based on the condition it want to enter into the loop, it want to enter into that condition or not, it will check that's it. Okay, now the next one is this is about the if statement. Okay, now if else statement, the second one is the wait, what is that? Second one is if else statement. Now I'll show you one example for this if else statement. Okay. Else see here, we'll have some scenarios like in the real-time entity, like if it is positive, if the condition is success, print some lines. If the condition is fail also, I want some other lines to be executed, not like the common lines. Here, this is the common line. If the condition is true or if the condition is false also, this line will execute. But there will having some client requirement, like if the condition is true, print some lines like this express y is greater than 20. If the condition is false, I want to get the line to be printed express y is less than 20. Okay. Not like the common code should be executed every time. Like I want some differentiate between the condition true and the condition false. Then in that scenario, we are going to use this if else condition. Okay. Like here, it is the condition is true, right? Now we are going to get the output here. X plus y is greater than 20. You should get in a new say X plus y is greater than 20 outside if else condition. This is the common line. If suppose if I give here, it is 10 plus 2 is less than. Now see x plus y is less than 20 and outside of if else condition. This is the common line, whether it is result is positive or negative. The condition is true or false, it will definitely execute. Based on the condition true, which line to be executed will be decided by this condition. This is about the if else condition. The next one is if else if. In the if else if condition, we'll have multiple else if statements. One if will be there, multiple else if statements will be there. We can also say this is a chain of if else statements, which creates a decision tree. Okay. Now here I'll show you an example for that. Let us take. See here, we are having one class and the main method, and here we have taken one string type variable called city. Okay, and it is accepting a string values. If city is equal to Meerut, if you are the city, what we are passing here is Meerut, just print city is Meerut. If the else, if city is equal to Noida, print city is Noida. Else if means if this is not, check at least this. If this is not, check at least this. This is what the meaning of this if else if ladder. Okay. If city is Agra, city is Agra. Else. This is what the final else block here. If the given input is not in these three, then print what the input we are passing in the city as it is. Okay. Let me run an execute and show it to see. We are just printing here because it is not matching any criteria here. The given city is not Meerut, not Noida, not Agra. Then the final else block will execute here and it will just print the given output. If I give here Noida, okay, then what it will print? See, city is Noida because it is satisfying the condition here and it is just printing that and it will come out of that. Then it won't, if the condition is satisfied here, it won't come to this else block. If any one of the condition is not satisfying only, it will come to the else block. Okay. This is what about the if else ladder. Okay. Now, nested if statement. Nested if means what? If condition within the if condition. Means we'll have outer if condition and inner if condition. See here. I'll try to show you. This is what. Now here, whether the notes will be shared. Notes means you want to complete a PDF document of the course. Okay, actually was I didn't get this. I didn't. No one asked me this, like the trainer from the Logic Labs. But if you want, I'll share you that. I have the notes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. See here. In this, what we are passing here, address is Delhi, India. This is about the nested if condition. Okay. Nested if condition means what? Here we are taking some built-in functions. Okay. Like ends with, contains. These are all the some built-in functions. I told you, right? Built-in functions means what? Which is already exist in the Java library. Okay. Just we are going to use that. See, and why we are using that with this address? This is the programmer has declared this address variable, right? Then how we are using this means because this address is of type string variable. So we can use that built-in function with the user-defined variables also with if the data type of those two should be same because this ends with method exists in string class. So we can use that method with the string object. Here's address is an object only, right? Though we are saying here a variable, it is also an object of this string class. Okay. So address dot ends with India means it will check here what if the given address is ends with India, then enter into this if condition. Okay. See what we have passed here, Delhi, India. Okay. So it will check here whether India is existed or not in the end of the string. Yes, it is there. So it will true and it will enter into this. If address contains Meerut, contains means what? It will check anywhere in the string from starting to ending. It will check whether Meerut is exist or not. If it exists, it will print this. Else, it will come out of this. So here what it will do, Delhi is there, Meerut is not there. So the if condition is false, it will come here, else if. If address contains Noida, then this will print. But Noida is also not there. So the final else will get executed. Address dot split, comma, 0. Means what here? From the given address, means in this string, split is a method. What it will do? It will split the string, means it will divide the string based on this comma operator. Means this comma operator based where it is exist here, right? It will split to this, means Delhi will be one string, India will be one string. And what it should print at the 0th index, what is the string is there, that you have to get print. This is the first 0th index, right? So it will print Delhi. Okay, it will split the string and it will print the Delhi as the output. If this condition, if the condition itself at the starting is false, like if it is not India, if I give here US, then this condition will become false. Then this whole thing will not get executed. Only this else block will executed and it will print you are not living in India. Okay. See, let us execute this. See, Delhi is printed because if this condition is true and it will enter here, it will split the string and it will print the 0th index value. If I give here US. Now, see, you are not living in India. So it will give the output here like this. Okay. This is the what about this nested if statement means if condition inside the this if condition is inside this outer if condition. If inside the if is known as nested if. Okay. Now the next one is the switch statement. Okay. One second. I'll take an what here as to be a switch statement is a multiple block of code here. Means we are executing the multiple blocks of code in the form of cases based on the given variable. It will select particular case. Okay. And here I have to explain one thing. What are the main points we have to remember about this switch statement is first I'll explain this and I'll show you the code. Okay. The case variable can be means the variable what we are passing to a case can be integer, short, byte, character, or enum. These types of variables can only be passed to the switch case variables. Okay. String type is also supported since 7th version of Java. Earlier, it was not supported string type. Okay. And cases cannot be duplicated. If you create a case A, case B, and if you try to create again one more case A, then it will throw an error. It is not at all possible or supported in Java switch statement. Default statement is executed when there will having one default statement also. Default case also will be there in Java switch statement. When it will get executed means when any of the case doesn't match the value of the expression, it will execute and it is optional also. Like if we are creating case A, case B, case C, case D. And if I give the input on the top as case E, but there is no such case, then what it will do, it will execute the default case. Okay, because the expression or the variable what we pass here doesn't match any of the case. So the default statement will get executed. And every cases must have the break statement because break statement will terminate the switch block. Means once the condition becomes true, it will enter into that particular case. It will execute the lines of code. In order to come out of that particular case, we are using this break statement. Okay. If you won't use the break statement, then it will execute all the cases. Means it will check the conditions for all the cases. And while using the switch statement, we must notice that the case expression will be the same type as the variable. And it will also be a constant value. I'll explain you that actually. That what that means. Here we are passing case here as 0. And the switch variable as num. Num means of type integer only. And here case 0 and 1 are also integer type only. Means the variable what we are passing the data type of this should be the same data type of the case variable here, what we are going to initialize. That is what that meaning here. If we are passing here a float and we are given here integer, it doesn't support, it throws an error. Okay. And I'll write here one more case. Case 2 and case 3. Number is 2. Number is 3. Okay. See, I'll execute this code and explain to you this. See here, because the number what we have given here, 2. First, it will enter here. It will initialize the value num is equal to 2. Come. Now it comes here, switch num. It is taking here num as 2. First, it will come here, case 0. Is the value what we are passing is 0? No. It will come out of the next case. It will come to the next case. Case 1. Is the case value what we are passing is 1? No. It will go to the next case. It will check case 2. The given input is 2 and here case is 2. So it will enter it into this case and it will print number is 2. And then break. It will come out of that switch statement. If I give here number as 5. Okay, because there is no such case 5. Just the 5 value is kept printing because here the default case is executed and we have written here just the given number we have printed here in the default case, right? If the case doesn't match, default statement will get executed. If the case matches, it will execute that case and we need to terminate that by the break statement. It will come out of that switch block. Okay. This is about this switch statement. Okay. And next will be the what is this? Okay. Here the next statements will be in the control statements. After the decision making statements, we are having the looping statements. Looping statements which what? First here the word here itself represent looping, means it is repeating, means in order to execute block of code repeatedly while some condition is true, then we know it as looping. Okay, in looping statements, what it will do? It will execute block of code repeatedly until the condition becomes true. If the condition becomes false, it will come out of that looping statement. Okay. And what are the statements we are going to available in the looping statements is a set of instructions which are in executable manner for a repeated order. You are going to place that in the loop. Okay. Based on particular condition only, the statements will be executed repeatedly. Okay. And there are 3 types of loops in Java. What are those? For loop, while loop, do while loop. These 3 are because in earlier version, in the latest version, for each loop is there. Okay. I'll explain you that also. Okay. First, I'll explain these 3 and then I'll go for the for each loop. This for loop. First one is for loop. For loop means what? The for loop syntax will be initialization part, condition check, and then if the condition is true, it will execute the statements, will have increment and decrement operator. Based on that, it will recheck the condition until the condition becomes true, it will execute that. Sorry, until the condition becomes false, it will execute the statement repeatedly. Once the condition becomes false, it will come out of this condition and in the for loop, it will execute the remaining block of code. Okay. Wait, I'll show you the example for this. loop. Here we have defined one int sum is equal to 0, a variable, and then we have created one for loop here. See here in this for loop, the first statement will be the initialization, and the second will be the condition check, and the third will be the increment or decrement operator. Okay. And then the statements what we are going to execute once the condition becomes true. Means the repeated code what we have to do once the condition will become true will keep in this for loop. Okay. Now we have taken one sum variable as 0. And we are taking one looping variable here. Here j is an looping variable. Only for the looping purpose we are using this j value. The scope of this j value will also up to this for loop only. If you try to access the j variable after this loop, we can't access that because the scope for this looping variable only up to that loop itself. Okay. Now here for j is equal to 1. Initially we assigned j is equal to 1. Okay. And now j less than or equal to 10. Okay. If j value is less than or equal to 10. Now 1 is less than 10. Condition becomes true. What it will do? It will enter into this. Sum is equal to sum plus j. Means initially sum value will be 0. Now in the sum value, we are going to show 0 plus j. 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1, 1. Now sum will become 1. After the statement, it will go to the condition here. J plus plus means j is equal to j plus 1 here. That means j plus plus means j is equal to j plus 1. Now the j value will become 1 plus 1, 2. After this increment and decrement operator, this is the increment one. Okay. After this increment operator, it will check the condition again. 2 less than or equal to 10. Condition becomes true. Now it will enter into this. Sum is equal to 2 plus 1. Sorry, sum plus j. Sum value will be 1. 1 plus j is equal to 2. 1 plus 2, 3. Now the sum value will become 3. Again condition check. J will become now 2 plus 1, 3. 3 less than 10. Now it will do here 3 plus 3. What it will do? 6. The same way it will get repeated until 10. Now if the j plus plus 10 will become 10 less than or equal to. Not only less than, equal to is also there. Now 10 equal to 10. Condition becomes true. Then the sum value will become here some value plus 10. We'll get that value. And then j will get increment again. 10 plus 1, 11. 11 less than or equal to 10. Now the condition becomes false. So it will come out of that for loop and it will print here the sum of first 10 natural numbers is. Now we'll execute that. We'll get the procedures. See, the sum of first 10 natural numbers is 55. See, we are repeating this loop until the condition becomes false. This is about the looping statements. Okay. This is about the for loop. Now, the second one will be the while loop. Second, we'll go with the while loop now. In the while loop, first what it will do, it is also same like the looping only, but the syntax or the pictorial representation of this will be the difference. First, it will check the condition. In while loop, normally in for loop, initialization will be the first one, but in while loop, condition will be checked first. After that, it will execute the statements if the condition is true. Okay. And then it will do the increment and decrement operator and it will go to the condition check again. So until the condition becomes false, it will repeat the statements in the while loop and it will, once the condition will becomes false, it will come out of that while loop. I'll execute the code. Initially, we are taking I is equal to 0. And next, now we are printing the first 10 even numbers. Okay. Means what? First, we are checking here condition. 0 less than or equal to 10. Okay. 0 is less than 10. Condition becomes true. It will just print that I value. And now I, we are going to increment by 2 here. I plus 2. I will become 0 plus 2, 2. 2 less than 10. 2 less than or equal. The condition becomes true. It will come and print here 2 value. 2 plus 2, 4. 4 less than or equal to 10. It will print 4 plus 2, 6. 6 less than or equal to 10. It will print again. Now, and it will become 6 plus 2, 8. 8 less than or equal to 10. It will come and print here. Now, 8 plus 2, 10. 10 less than or equal to 10. If this condition is true, it will going to print the 10 value. Now, 10 plus 2, 12. 12 less than or equal to 10. Condition will become false. So, it will come out of the while loop and it will execute the statement. What are the available after that while loop? If it exists, it will print that. Else, it will exit the code. I'll print that. See, printing the list of first 10 even numbers. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. This is about the while loop. Now, the next will be the do while loop. Here in the do while loop, what it will do means first, for the first time, it will execute the statements without condition check. Okay. It will execute the statement only for the first time. After that, it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will execute the statement again repeatedly and until the condition becomes false. After that, it will terminate. Like, for example, how I can say is, normally, while we are opening this Gmail page, for everyone, it will open a home page. Whoever is trying to log in that. Only if the credential is passed, if the credentials what they have passed is true, then only it will open the inbox page of the Gmail, right? Otherwise, it won't open that. So for the first time, every user will get the login page for everyone without any condition check. Just only if you type Gmail, if you click that, will everyone is able to open this login page of the Gmail. Based on the user ID and password only, we can able to open the inbox page. Means for everyone, login page is common. For the first time, login page will be open for everyone. After that, if the login credentials are true, then we are going to open the inbox, drafts, and everything. Okay, this is a simple example what I try to explain for this dual. I'll show you the program regarding this. Same for the printing of this first and 10 even numbers. Now I'm just first time I'm printing that 0 number. Okay. And then I'm incrementing that by the 2. And now I'm checking that condition here. Okay. First, this will get printed and then it will increment that. See, the same I am getting here, printing the first 10 even numbers. Okay, for the first time, it is going to print that and then incrementing and decrementing, and then it is checking the condition. Until the condition will become false, it will repeat all the statements in this do block. Okay, this is about the do while loop. The next will be the for each loop. Okay, for each loop is an enhanced loop for traverse the data structures like array or collection. Normally in for loop, we are using that to repeat a block of code for the based on the variables. Like int I, j is equal to 1, j less than or equal to 10. These are all the variables. Now, in order to traverse a loop or traverse the loop, For the data structures like arrays or collections, we are using this for each loop, and we don't need to update the loop variable. Means what, we are having the increment operator in the loops, right? Like for loop I plus plus, if I minus minus, these types of increment or decrement operators will be there, right? But in for each loop, no need to update that looping variable, like increment or decrement should not be needed. It will do automatically. Okay. The syntax of this is for data type, variable name, colon, array name or collection name, and the statements. I'll show you an example for this also. See here, we have taken one array here. I told you, right? For each loop is used for the traversing array or collection. Now we have taken one string collection. Sorry, string array. String, and we have placed here square brackets, right? Names. 4 is equal to Java, C, C++, Python, JavaScript. So many string values we have passed this string arrays. Okay. Now printing the content of that string arrays using this for each loop. For each loop means what? For data type and the array name. This is the data type of that array. Sorry, this is the data type, and the data type variable name means we are creating one string array. So that value what we are passing should be stored one string variable only, right? So we have created one string variable here, string name, colon, and the array name. Array name is names. Here, name is a string variable to fetch one by one string array value and store in this name one, and it will just print that. Okay, means from the names it will take each value and store in name. Okay, names it will take each value and store in name that we are going to print here. Okay, data type variable name, and then the array name. See, we have printed here C, Java, C. Wait, I'll give some space. Java, C, C++, Python, JavaScript. All that string array values has been printed by using this string for each loop. Okay, this is way how we are going to use the for each loop. This is the advanced loop, and nowadays in every project mostly they'll use this only. Now I'm also using only this, not the basic one, because we are all deals with the collection concept, right? Then if the collection concept means we have to use this for each loop only, not the basic for loop. Okay, this is about the for each loop. Now the next the data types will have some break now. Okay. After this, we'll start. We'll have 5 minutes of break, and then we'll start with the data types. Okay. We'll meet you at 8:05. Exactly, it is 8 a.m. Right? We'll meet you at 8:05. Okay, we'll start now. Everyone is back. Please just ping me in chat. Yes. Okay. Let us start now. Now we have to discuss. Now we are going to discuss about the data types. Java data types. Okay. What are these Java data types? Normally we are declaring the variables in Java, right? So Java data types means what? Normally we declare all the variables, right? 1 second. The variables what we are going to declare must be declared with the data type only. Without giving any data type, we cannot create any variables. Okay. The variables must be defined with the data type. Okay. Data types means what? Data type specifies the different sizes and values that can be stored in a variable. Means which type of value to be stored in a variable, how much size it can be taken. Those are all will be defined by this Java data types. There are two types of data types in Java. Those are primitive data types and non-primitive data types. In primitive data types, we are having this Boolean, character, byte, short, int, long, float, and double. When come to this non-primitive data types, it includes this classes, interfaces, and arrays. First, we'll discuss about this primitive data types. Primitive data types are building blocks of data manipulation. Like in order to do any data manipulation in Java program, we are using these primitive data types. These are the most basic data types available in Java language. And Java is a statically typed programming language. Means first variables must be declared before it is used. If the variable is declared only, then only we can able to use that in the program. At the time of usage of that variable, we cannot create that variable. First, we have to declare the variable and then we have to use that variable. That is the reason why Java is known as statically typed programming language. Okay. And that is the why we need to declare variables type and name at the starting of that class definition. Once the class definition has been done, we have to declare this variables with the data type. Okay. And there are 8 types of primitive data types. In the primitive data types also again classified into 8 types. Those are Boolean data type, byte data type, char data type, short data type, int data type, long data type, float data type, and double data type. See here, the parent of all the data types will be the data type. It is categorized into primitive and non-primitive. In non-primitive, we are having the string, arrays, etc. All those things. I told that classes, interfaces, these are all comes under this non-primitive. Means in the string is also a class. Array is also a class. That is the reason why we call here classes, interfaces as a non-primitive data types. And next, when it comes to this primitive data types, in primitive data types, we are having Boolean and numeric. It is mainly classified into Boolean and numeric. Boolean means it is the class, and here the data type of that is Boolean with a small letter b. And then in numeric, we are having the character and integral. Okay, character means each character type variable it can be stored. The data type name is char. And in the integral, we are having integer and floating type. Integer may be a normal numerical value or decimal value also. So for integer value, we are having the integer data type, and for decimal value, we are having the floating point data type. Okay. In floating point, again, it is classified into the float and double. In integer, byte, short, and long. These are all the integer value storing only, but the sizes of this will be different. Okay. Now we'll discuss that data types and its sizes. Okay. First one is a Boolean data type. It takes, what is the description of that Boolean data types is, it takes only the true or false. Okay. The default value of that Boolean data type is false, and it takes only 1 bit of size. 1 bit means either 0 or 1. Okay. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay. Bits means it will store in the form of zeros or ones. And the example literals means how we have to pass the values to that Boolean data type is like this, either true or false. Okay, the range of the values for this Boolean type is true or false only. Okay, and byte data type. Byte data type is a 2 complement integer. Okay, it is a 2 complement integer. And the default value of the byte data type variable is 0. And the size of that will be 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. Okay. And the range of that will be the minus 128 to positive 127. Means we can define a value to that byte variable will be, for example, byte b is equal to minus 128. It is acceptable. My byte b is equal to 127. It is acceptable. Byte b is equal to 128, positive number. It is not acceptable because the range is here minus 128 to positive 127 only. Okay. Now the character data type. Character data type description, it is a Unicode character, means a single character will be stored in the character data type variable. Okay, and the default value will be the slash, which is the hexadecimal value, /20000, and the size it takes is 16 bits, means 2 bytes. And the example literals, like you can give normal single character called a, single character called slash, slash n. They're all comes under this character. These types of values we can pass in the character variable. And because here normally the ASCII values will be there. So character represents that ASCII value. Every character in this our keyboard will having some ASCII value. ASCII value means it is some type of numerical value will be there for each character. Okay, it is a standard code for the characters. Okay, that will be ranging from 0 to 255. Okay. Now the short data type. Short data type is also a 2 complement integer, which default value will be the 0, and its size is 16 bits. Okay, here the difference is the range of the value, minus 32,768 to positive number 32,767 is the positive range values of this short integer data type. And normal integer data type is also a 2 complement integer. Default value will be the 0, and the size is here 32 bit. And the example literals are -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, anything up to this. This is the number. We can't spell it out also. -2147,483,648 to positive 2147,483,647. Up to this range, we can assign a value to the integer number. Okay. And the long integer data type, it is also a 2 complement integer. The default value will be the 0, and the size of that will be the 64 bit. Like we can assign a value like -2 lakh, -1 lakh, 0. Sorry, L is the hexadecimal number. We'll have some value to that L value, okay, and 2L like that. The range will be like this, minus 9222 or something positive 9223 like that, okay. And the floating data type, in the floating data type, it is also a decimal value acceptable. And here the default value will be the 0.0, the size will be 32 bits. The example literals are 1.23e, minus 1.23e, 3f, 3.14f, f. All these characters will have some backend numerical value because these are hexadecimal values. It will have some numbers. So up to 7 decimals, this floating point value will have. Means dot after the 6.72391 like that. After dot 7 decimals is acceptable in the float. The same like in the double, the size will be 64 bits. So it is accepting the 16 decimals after the dot. Float will be 7 decimals, double will be the 16 decimals. Okay. Now, what are the data types in this? It's and its syntax. I told you what are the ranges and everything, right? Now we'll have some brief discussion about these data types. Boolean data type represents only one bit of information. Means it will take only one bit of information, either true or false. Okay. Values of that Boolean type variables cannot be converted implicitly or explicitly to any other data type because it accepts only true or false. Other data types will accept some integer, character, or numerical. So we cannot convert this data type implicitly or explicitly. The syntax of this is Boolean boolvar. Here B is Boolean is the data type and here boolvar is the variable name. And the size is virtual machine dependent. Means 1 bit it will take. Okay. And the byte data type is a 8-bit signed 2 complement integer. 2 complement integer signed bit means it is accepting the minus value and positive value. Okay. The byte data type useful for saving memory in large arrays. The syntax of this is byte and byte variable. Size is 1 byte means 8 bits. Okay. And the short data type is it is a 16-bit signed 2 complement integer. Means here the see here minus values and positive values both it is accepting, right? So it is saying this a 2 complement integer value. Okay, it is similar to byte. Use a short to save memory in large arrays. Okay, the syntax is short and the short variable size is 2 bytes. And the integer data type is a 32 bytes signed 2 complement integer. Syntax is int and int variable name size is 4 bytes. And the long data type, the range of this long is quite large. And it is a 64-bit 2 complement integer acceptable. And it is useful for those occasions where integer data type variable is not enough to hold the desired value. If the integer is not sufficient, then we'll go for this long data type. The syntax is long and long variable name. The size is 8 bytes. Okay. And here the float data type. The float data type is a single precision 32-bit floating point value. Okay, it uses a float instead of double if you need to save memory in large arrays of floating point numbers. And the syntax is float and float variable name. And the size it will take is 4 bytes. Double is the name itself represents double, means double to the float. So double precision will be acceptable like the 64-bit. Okay. The syntax is double variable name and the size is 8 bytes. Okay. And then the character data type. Character data type is a single 16-bit Unicode character with the size of 2 bytes. Means it will take only 16-bit Unicode characters in the 16 bits of this character data type size. Okay. Now the syntax is char, character value name, and then the size is 2 bytes, means 16 bits. This is all about this complete Java data types and its sizes and the ranges of these data types. Okay. The next one will be the object-oriented programming language, means OOPS concept. Now we are going to discuss in depth about this OOPS concept. Okay. Introduction to this OOPS concept. Normally, a Simula is considered as the first object-oriented programming language. Means before this Java, we were having one programming language called Simula. That is the first object-oriented programming language introduced. Okay, after that or based on that, this Java has been introduced, and Smalltalk is considered as the truly object-oriented programming language. Beyond this Java means the completely or 100% purely object-oriented programming language at the first is Smalltalk. Okay. Not now. I'm saying the first truly object-oriented programming is the Smalltalk. Okay. Now, this object-oriented programming is a paradigm that provides many concepts. Why we call this as a means it provides a many concepts like inheritance, data binding, polymorphism, etc. These are all the concepts which covered in the OOPS concept. It makes this a highly recommended programming language. Okay. And now first we'll discuss what are these OOPS concepts. Those are object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. These are all will become the OOPS concept. First, what is this object? Object means a real world entity, such as a pen, chain, table, watch, computer, desktop, anything which exists in the environment. We know it as object. Object-oriented programming is a methodology or paradigm to design a program using these classes and in objects. Means why we are calling this object-oriented programming language means we are designed that we are design a program that is using both the classes and objects, and it also simplifies the software development and maintenance by providing these concepts. Okay, by using this OOPS concept, the development and maintenance of any software will become very easy. Okay, now what are the OOPS concept is object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. See here the picture represent object, class depend on object, inheritance depend on classes, a polymorphism depends on inheritance, abstraction depends on polymorphism, encapsulation depends on abstraction. So all these are interrelated. The picture here represents all these are interrelated. These are the main OOPS concept of Java. You can say these are the building blocks of any Java program. It plays a vital role in any Java program. Okay. First, what is meant by this object? And beyond this OOPS concept also, we are having some more OOPS concept like coupling, cohesion, association, aggregation, and composition. Okay. But the main OOPS concepts are these one. Okay. Now we'll discuss in detail about all these concepts. Okay. First, object. Object means what? An entity that has state and behavior is known as object. Means an entity which is having some state and some behavior. For example, a book. And how we are going to use that book? With the usage of pen or pencil. Without that pen and pencil, we cannot use that particular book, right? So here, an object is which is having some state and behavior. An entity that is having the state and behavior. And in order to use any class, definitely we need to use the object. Without the object, we cannot use the functionality of any class. Okay. A real-time example for this object is a chair, pen, table, keyboard. By examples are the objects. And an object can be a physical or logical. Okay. It is not like mandatory, it should be a physical. It is not like mandatory, it should be a logical. Okay. A technical definition for object is an object can be defined as an instance of a class, because without this instance we cannot use the any class. So an object can be defined as an instance of a class which contains an address and takes up some space in memory. Object will consume a space in memory. Definitely object will take the memory from the heap. Okay. Definitely it takes some space from the memory. This is completely about this object. Now, what is mean by this class? A class is a collection of objects is called class. A technical definition is collection of object is known as class, and it is a logical entity. Means a class is a logical entity. A class can be defined as a blueprint, which you can create an individual object. A class can be defined as a blueprint, which we create an individual object. Classes doesn't consume any space because it is a logical entity, and the actual space will take care by the object, because object plays a vital role in the class. In order to use all the class members, we can access that through the object only. So the object takes the space in the memory. Okay. Now, inheritance. Inheritance means what? I told you, right? When a parent class is there, child class is there. A child class acquires the property of parent class. We know it as inheritance. Why we are using this inheritance? It provides the code reusability, because if I'm using the parent class properties, then no need to write that property again in my child class. Just I can use that parent class property in my child class. Okay. And this inheritance concept is also used to achieve the runtime polymorphism. Okay. Now the next topic is, what is that? After the inheritance, polymorphism. Polymorphism means, 1 minute. Polymorphism means in the data in the multiple forms. Okay. One data in the multiple forms, we know it as polymorphism. 1 second. One task is performed in different ways is known as polymorphism. Means, for example, I can take an example as me only for this polymorphism. See, I'm working as a software engineer, some X and Y company. I'm working as a tutor or online trainer in some logic lab, and I'm working as a homemaker also. I can do these tasks. Means I'm the person who can do multiple tasks in different ways. When I go to office, I'll work as a software engineer, and when I do the classes, I'll work as a trainer. Or in my home, I can do as my homemaker. So in different ways, I can do a different task. Means I am the person who is doing a task in different ways. Okay. If one task is performed in different ways is known as polymorphism. For example, to convince the customer in the customer care support, in order to convince any customer differently, we can use a different methodology, like to draw something. Like if he is not able to understand, like how the pyramid will look. Okay. Then, or like how the oval shape will look. Then what he'll do, he'll try to draw that on the picture, or he'll try to show some examples, like he'll show some egg like that. The explaining to the customer in a different ways is also an example for this polymorphism. And this polymorphism is again categorized into the two types, that is static polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Static polymorphism is also known as method overloading. That this runtime polymorphism is also known as method overriding. First, what is meant by this method overloading? I'll try to show you with an example, because it is very important actually. Interview, it is mostly asked interview question. I'll show you one code. Hmm, 1 second. See here, I have created one class here, right? Adder is the class name. Okay. Now I have created two methods here. Method overloading means nothing but we can have the same method name with different signature. Signature means different number of parameters or different data type of the parameters. Okay. That is called method overloading or static polymorphism. So here we are having same methods, static int add, static int add, and it is accepting the two variables, int a comma int b, and it is accepting three, int a comma int b comma int c, and this is returning this. Wait, I'll elaborate this. Okay, now see here, we're having two methods, static int add with the same method name, with same signature here. Only different number of parameters has been different. Here, two parameters we are passing, either we are passing three parameters. And we can give here float also. Any different data types we can pass. But definitely we should, and if we can give two also here. But here, these two should not be the same like this. We can give float int like that. Okay. Now, in the main method, we are calling system.out.println adder.add. Means because these are the static methods. Static means what? No need to create an object for the static class or static method. Directly, we can access the static methods by the class name. Okay, so we are calling this static method by the class name adder dot add of 11 comma 11. Because we are passing here two values, then it will go to the two argument method int. So it will call this method, and it will execute this one, and it will return the value. And here we are passing the three values. Then it won't go to this because we are passing three. It is not accepting the criteria. So it will go to this, and it will add this, and it will return the value. I'll run this. What happened? Should be declared in it. There is already one. See, if I try to write to differentiate, okay. second add method. Okay. First add method, second add method. See how we are, what is this method overloading means? We are having the same method name and the same signature, but the difference will be the number of arguments or different type of arguments should be declared. And these two should be in the same class only. Okay, remember this point, method overloading definitely in the same class. Okay, now what is meant by this method overriding? Method overriding means we'll having the same method name with the same signature, but it will be in the different classes, means inheritance will be used. Okay, wait, I'll show you an example for this. First, I will show you a code. What will the problem will occur if we won't provide the, if you want to use the functionality of method overriding. See here, we're having one class and one method called run. And now this bike is extending that vehicle. Okay. Now we are calling this run method with the bike object. Okay. Calling the method with the child class instance. Okay. Now what it will do, the output will become here. Vehicle is problem. The output will get is vehicle is running. Okay. In order to, if I want to use this, I want to implement this run method. Okay. Now, if, because this bike class is extending this vehicle class, right? Then it can implement this run method also. Now, if I want to implement this run method, then it will be having some ambiguity. Which class method will get executed? So, now to overcome this, method overriding concept has been introduced. Okay. Wait, I'll show you this. See, now what it will do means, this bike 2 is the extending this vehicle and it is implementing the parent class method here. Okay, the run method is implementing in this parent class also. Okay, now if I create an object to bike 2 and I'm calling this, then bike is running safely, this method will get executed. So if I create, earlier what it was happening, if we are creating to the this child class object and I am trying to access the run method, then the parent class run method is executing because we have not implemented the method with the same method in the child class. So method overriding means same method with same signature, but in the parent and child class. The relationship between here is the parent and child class, not in the same class. That is the reason why we call here method overriding. Okay. It is just overriding. The all will be the same, the signature. Just the implementation of the method is different. The child class will implement the method based on upon his requirement. Parent class, based on his requirement, it will implement. Based on this requirement, it will implement its own implementation. Okay. This is what about the method overriding. Okay. These two concepts comes under this polymorphism. Now, abstraction. Abstraction means what? Hiding the internal details and showing the functionality is known as abstraction. Means just I'm giving the brief idea about anything, not the actual implementation. Like normally, we know the phone call in our mobile, right? Like if we click on the phone and if we enter the number, if we try to click on the call button, we can connect to the other person who are in other states or other countries and we can speak with them. We know the functionality, right? We can able to speak with the other people through the phone call. We don't know the actual implementation of that, like the internal processing, how it is going to connect to that, and how it is going to ring that, how they are going to lift all those things. The internal process, we don't know. Just we know the functionality that we can able to do the call and we can able to speak with them through the phone call. So here abstraction means hiding the internal details, means internal process is hiding. But the functionality, we know that this is doing this operation like that. Okay. In order to achieve this abstraction, we use the abstract class and interface to achieve this abstraction. We use the abstract class and interface to achieve this abstraction. What is this abstract class first? I'll show you an example. First, I'll show you the abstraction. If I show you through code now, it will be very. See here, we are having one abstract class. Abstract class means what? We won't having the any implementation of the methods in the abstract class. The first thing you need to remember is we won't having any implementation to the methods in abstract class, and we cannot create an object to the abstract class. The second thing, and the one thing is we can create an object to the abstract class by the child class, means whoever is extending that abstract class, that child class has to implement that object, implement that abstract method, and we can create an object to the child class. Okay. See here, abstract class. How we are going to create the abstract class means by using the keyword called abstract. Abstract class and the class name. And the method is abstract void run. There is no implementation here. See who is implementing that? The child class Honda 4 extends bike. This child class is extending this bike class. This is an abstract class. It will, this bike class, Honda 4 will implement the abstract method of the bike class. Void run, system.out.println running safely. And in the main method, see, we are creating an object to the Honda 4. Okay, the reference, the instantiation is, the reference is bike. Bike obj is equal to new Honda, because new is the operator we use to create an object. We are using this new operator for the Honda 4, and the reference we are taking here for the bike, because bike is an abstract class. Obj dot run. Now it will run this method and it will print the output running safely, because there won't be having any implementation for this. See, if I try to implement here also, see what will happen, so that you will have some idea of what is happening. It will throw an error. See, I told you, right? Abstract methods cannot have body. We should not give body to the abstract methods. This is the way how we are going to achieve the abstraction in Java. Now, encapsulation. Encapsulation means what? Binding or wrapping the data members and data variables together into a single unit is known as encapsulation. Means an example for this encapsulation is a class. Like, because in a class we are having the data members, means a variables, and the data methods means methods. Together we are putting all the variables and methods into a one unit called class. We can put all those things in a one unit only. We cannot put them separately. So an example for this encapsulation is a class. Okay. A real-time example for this is a capsule. Because when we'll wrap all the medicines together and we'll make a capsule. Okay. And our technical example is a Java class is an example of encapsulation. Java Bean is the fully encapsulated class because all the data members are private here. Okay. And now the other these are the main OOPS concepts of Java. Okay, which I explained you now. What are the other OOPS concepts of Java are coupling, cohesion, association, aggregation, composition. Coupling means it refers to the knowledge or information or dependency of another class. Means one class is having a knowledge on another class or it is having some information of another class. Like an employee class will have the some information of about the person class because an employee must be a person. It cannot be a machine, right? So there is dependency between the employee and the person class. So it is having some dependency of another class is known as coupling. It arises when classes of aware of each other. One class is aware of each other, then only coupling has been raised. Okay, and then cohesion. Cohesion refers to the level of component which performs a single well-defined task. Means if a task is done at a time, like adding a two numbers, if you done that at a single task, then we call it as highly cohesion. If we split the task into the separate parts, like uh, dividing the two numbers is one task, dividing the adding the two numbers is one task, adding the three numbers is one task, adding the 10 numbers is one task. These are all dividing into multiple tasks means it will come the weekly cohesion. If we are doing all the additions in only one task, like if based on the input, if you are passing the 2, it will add the 2. If we are passing 10, it will add the 10. In only single method, if you are doing means that is known as a highly cohesive method. Okay, that is about the cohesion. Association. Association means what? A relationship between the objects is known as association. One object can be associated with one object or many objects is known as association. There are four types of association between the objects. Those are one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. Means one object is associated with another object. It is one-to-one relationship. If one object is associated with multiple objects, like I am the trainer and I am giving training to all you people. So many people have joined this and I am giving training to all of you. So the relation between me and you is one to many and many to one. Means like if you are taking the feedback from all of you, then you all people are giving feedback to me. Like many are giving feedback to single person. Means we are having the relationship many to one. Many to many. Means what? Mm, in normally in any organizations while they are giving some many to many means many will get interacted if many people will get in like in the elections we can say like many people like the election team will get interact with the normal people to vote some people to give some induction about them and the voters will also get interact with them like they will give a vote to such people, they'll give a vote to this team like that. The interaction between the voters and the team will be the many to many. Okay. This is what about the association. And aggregation and composition is also a way to achieve the association. Means to bond the relationship between the object, we are using this aggregation and composition. First, aggregation represents one object contains another object as part of its state. Means to represent the state of an object in another object. means an employee and person is there. Means here an employee can use the person object. Person is a class and it is using the person object. It represents the state. Employee means a person only. Means the state of that employee will be a person. So here the aggregation represents the state of the particular object in another object. And it represents a weak relationship between the object. And it is also known as a relationship in Java. Okay. And composition is it is also a relationship between the one object contains another object as it state, but it is having the strong relationship, means definitely that object should depend on another object. Without that, we cannot use that particular object. That is the strong relationship. If it is there or doesn't there, it doesn't matter to the object, means that is a weak relationship which exists in the aggregation. Okay, these are completely about this OOPS concept. Like, what are the OOPS concept? Object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. The other concepts are coupling, cohesion, and then aggregation, association, composition. These are the other OOPS concepts of Java. And these other OOPS concepts are mainly for the relationship between the objects. Okay. This is completely about today's session, and today is the last demo session. From the next week, only the paid students will get the link. Okay, just a gentle reminder to all of you. Okay. If you are having any questions, please let me know so that if you are not clear with any topic, so that I can explain you again. We'll have 7 more minutes of time. Anyone, any questions? No questions?